it's probably not the best strategy to try to make the most money. And I'd be honest and communicate that with the client and say, well, this is the truth of the stock market is real money is made during times of volatility.
So another question I wanted to ask is, a lot of people in this is a very software specific and entrepreneurship specific and tech specific podcast. A lot of people think, even though it's kind of true, logical thinking does cut across different industries. But it's clearly not enough. Is there something that you were able to apply from that side of thinking into this? But then is there also stuff that was like sort of missing that, logical or not, it's just not going to work in this field, in this way of managing money?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a really good question, actually. So um, I would like to say I'm both an introvert and extrovert sometimes.
Are we all?
I like to say the introverted side of me is the IT side. The
Yeah.
extroverted side of me is the investment side. So really from the IT perspective, logical thinking is critical, especially when you're problem solving and really identifying almost thinking like an engineer,
Mhm.
thinking of the problems specifically that are in front of you and the challenges and figuring out what vehicles or tools or resources you need to solve those problems. Um, what doesn't transfer over is the emotional side. So, you know,
Oh, that's interesting.
it's one thing to be, I mean, I would say when I was doing IT stuff, I was almost robotic, where doing the investment side, you have to factor in the emotional aspect of it. Because in all reality, if someone said, "Hey, Eric, what's the best way to make money and make the most money in the stock market?" And
Yeah.
I'd say, throw it in there, don't touch it, have it well diversified. No matter what it does, never pull it out. And it's one thing to say that, but when you see your money go from a 100% value to 120% value down to 5% left, or maybe 20%, it's going to cause panic in most people. And people, when they say, "Hey, make me the most amount of money," and
Hmm.
that's the reality of doing it,
Hmm.
they're not willing to accept the truth of my money's going to go down significantly, and I got to hang tight. And
Hmm.
that's where the wealth management side comes into place, is getting an idea of the threshold that a client can take in seeing their assets be volatile. Is it a low level of volatility that they can handle, or a high level of volatility? And that'll ultimately dictate what kind of return they can get.
So, when you're talking about different levels of emotional, I guess, stability per client. So what makes you confident in the kinds of places you put clients money? Is it the level of investigation? Is it the different industries that to be successful? What really makes you feel confident when you're saying, hey, just trust us, this is a long-term play we're going for, and we just need you to believe in us. We've made an assessment of you, and we know that you can handle this.
So we're a little bit unique in a wealth management company. We really don't work with just anyone.
Mm,
What we look for in clients is clients that want to learn.
yeah.
I there's a reason why the majority of people do not have a significant amount of wealth in the
Mm,
United States and even Canada.
mm-hmm,
And that's really because they don't have the proper guidance, and they don't understand the work that's necessary. There is no easy money in this life. And even in investing, it requires some work from everyone. That's not just the advisor. That's not just a wealth management firm that you're working with. From you specifically, it will require some level of work. And that's what we look for, because you have to get an idea of what we're doing to truly
mm-hmm,
appreciate it. For example, the example I gave you earlier, where someone comes in, I want to make the most amount of return as possible. I feel confident when I'm putting them in, because I get an idea of what they're really comfortable with. I say, "Hey, you have $1 million. You've seen this million go to, let's say, $100,000.
mm,
What would you do?" And I need you to be honest with yourself. There is going to be some work where you have to be honest with your emotions and yourself.
mm-hmm,
If you say, "Hey, I panic I'd probably sell before I even got to that point, then it's probably not the best strategy to try to make the most money. And I'd be honest and communicate that with the client and say, well, this is the truth of the stock market is real money is made during times of volatility. And if that's something that you're not going to be comfortable with and you're going to sell out of all your positions, and I put you in this plan to make the most amount of money, you will lose money.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why people come to me is not to lose money,
Yeah.
it's to protect their money and to make money over a long period of time. So it's more that I get to know my clients on a very on multiple layers, not just from a logical perspective of aligning the right tools and resources, but also from an emotional perspective of diving into almost their psychological viewpoint of risk and pairing those two, the IT side of me that I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
logical critical thinking with the emotional side and blending those to be able to
Yeah.
come up with the appropriate solution.
I'm excited to ask you this next question because I think you're literally the perfect person to answer this. What is and this is coming, you're coming out of your IT side and going into wealth management. What do you think was the top three things you learned moving into wealth management? You think everybody who is in software should really, should really start thinking about? What is the top two things that you think, would be really valuable for people in IT to really
So
take to heart?
one, be honest with with yourself, stay in your lane. You know, there are many clients that we work with that are senior executives at companies, really successful business owners where they're making millions and millions of dollars a year. And what I see from those clients that we've worked with for some time and had a great amount of success through investing is they understand they're a specialist in this, but they're not a specialized specialist in investing, nor do they know everything that trickles with it. So just be honest with yourself. If you have the genuine time to dedicate to invest, if you have true knowledge in investing, like true knowledge, not just investing with the stock market, but factoring in things like your taxes, factoring in your estate, and you have the third thing that you would need to be successful is the desire to do it. If you
Yeah.
have all three of those things, and I've only met two or three people that have all three of those, and they were successful investing their own money, and I was honest with them and let them do their own thing. But if you have all three of those, you can be successful investing your own money. But the knowledge piece is hard, and especially for high income earners. We have a lot of programmers that we work with, and anyone who's a programmer understands that there's a lot of time constraints. Sometimes you're on call when projects come up, and they don't have that time. Maybe they do have that knowledge, but they may not also have the desire. So be
Mhm.
honest with yourself is one. Two, set goals. Know what you want to accomplish. For me personally, I'm not in this to get wealthy for myself. Um, I grew up in a very poor area, and I did not have the resources to really leverage my curiosity as a kid. And I noticed that our school system, specifically in Arizona, is not the greatest, and it's somewhat broken, especially for a lot of minorities where I grew up around. And my goal is to I have a specific dollar amount, a goal that I need to hit to be able to build a school without any funding from the state,
Yeah.
any funding from private investors, so I can have that school ran the way it needs to be ran to help kids that are growing up in low income areas. So have your own goals and know what you need to accomplish those goals. The third big thing is keep appropriate cash reserves. If you're trying to do anything, whether you're starting a business or investing, you got to have appropriate cash reserves. Over the decade that I've been working in banking, the companies that I see that are startups be successful is they go into it with 2 years worth of cash reserves. They can
Mhm.
weather having a one bad year. They can weather having 2 bad years. And it's not something that I just thought of on my own. I wish I was that smart. I actually took some notes from people like Bill Gates. Uh, very intelligent and kind of getting an idea of what they do. So they keep enough payroll to pay everyone from their programmers down to the janitors of the building for 2 years. And if those really smart business owners are doing stuff like that, I'm just going to listen and follow their lead because they have way more success than I'll probably want in my life. So
And stress.
yeah, yeah, and stress. Yeah. So
And
set,
stress.
be honest with yourself, set goals, and keep adequate cash reserves.
Yeah, that's a few bumper stickers there.